Carter visited Kentucky on several occasions, both during and after his time in office.
WKYT was there over the years to document Carter's trips to the Bluegrass. And now we're taking a step back into the archives for a look into the late president's visits to our neck of the woods.
Bardstown was ready for President Carter. Suddenly the atmosphere changed. A murmur grew into excited shouts. Jimmy Carter had arrived. Quickly became apparent that the crowd was closing in, so Mr. Carter was ushered back. Undaunted, he climbed up onto the top of the limousine to wave.
Kentuckians have put their best foot forward today. The hospitality of Kentucky has been at its finest.
If the president was to come to see Kentuckians, no doubt he had to see Kentucky coal. And this is as good a place as any to see where Kentucky coal can be treated properly. Scrubbed, cleaned up, and proper for an energy use.
I want Congress to give me the authority to require utility companies to cut in half their use of oil and to switch to other fuels, especially coal.
The arrival of former President Carter was one of the biggest and best-kept secrets in town today. He emerged into the hall and expressed to me his concern over Mideast problems. He commended the efforts of the Catholic bishops for taking a stand on nuclear disarmament, a problem that has seriously changed since his leaving office.
There was a general feeling around the world that we were actively seeking nuclear arms control.
Would you attribute that to Reagan?
Well, I think at that time there was no doubt that the only obstacle to nuclear arms control success was in the Kremlin, in Moscow. And I think now there are a lot of people who feel that both sides are not carrying out their full responsibilities.
The signs proclaim this special day in Williamsburg.
You know, I've never met a Democratic president.
But any nervousness was erased immediately when that famous Jimmy Carter smile gleamed toward an anxious crowd.
Wherever there is a small flame of truth and dedication and service and moral standards, it needs to be fanned into a more significant light.
This day of big events behind them, the people at Cumberland College will now go back to their regular work of educating young people, and people in Williamsburg will go back to their routines. But they'll all long remember this day when a president came to town.
The sounds of hammering, sawing, drilling, and conversation fill the air at Chloe Creek in Pikeville. With the signature red bandana tied around his neck, former President Jimmy Carter is hard at work.
We're here to build 52 houses with President Carter in 6 locations in eastern Kentucky and 1 in Tennessee.
Jimmy Carter, former president, former farmer.
It's really a heartwarming thing.
The different backgrounds blend together here at a Habitat for Humanity work site.
It's one of the most memorable things that we have ever done in our lives, is to work side by side with a family that Monday morning they really can't quite believe, you know, that Friday afternoon I'm going to have my own house.